So when we would get together and do ceremony, there's a couple of times I very distinctly remember something that I would do right before I was ready to kind of let go or cross over and make a big change and become really, really, really vulnerable, like just to totally like let go of control. I would look across, we were often sitting around the fire, I'd look across the fire at my teacher and just like, do you have my back? Like, if I let go and this goes south, are you going to be there to help kind of put me back together again? And he would just smile and he's like, yeah, well, I got you. So the reason I bring this up is that what I've found is like we can provide this for ourselves, well, and for each other, but in this case for ourselves. And it's a way to think about it is kind of like trusting ourselves. And the best way to describe it is maybe like if we're having a relationship with ourselves. So there's kind of this part of ourselves, the strong or kind of adult part of ourselves might be holding space for a more vulnerable part of ourselves. You could say our inner child, or the part of me that looked over the fire at my teacher and said, do you got me? That part of you. And what it means is if you have the back of that part of yourself, if that part of yourself, we want that part of yourself to be able to rely on you. And what that means is it's relying on you to not abandon it, in other words, to not distract yourself from it, to not get into some type of medicating feelings or distracting or get really busy or whatever else, to not listen to it, which is a way of kind of abandoning it, if you will. We kind of abandon ourselves sometimes. It's promising this part of ourself, this child or this vulnerable part of ourself that, look, I'm not going to abandon you. If it, just like I said to my teacher, it's like, if this goes south, I'm going to help put you back together again. I'm going to be there for you. We're going to go through the healing. And this isn't just in spiritual ceremony, right? It could be if I'm about to fall in love, or I'm about to be really vulnerable in a relationship, or I'm willing to take some kind of big risk with a family member or a friend or whatever it is. We're way outside of our comfort zone, and we're going to just let go and surrender to life in a way. It's like that's when this can happen. And so what I invite you to try is, much like I did with my teacher, is to just kind of, let this vulnerable part of you, this child and this sensitive part of you, this open heart part of you, you could say your heart itself, you could let your heart know that it's like, look, I got you. You can let go, and I promise you, I'll do whatever it takes to put us back together again. If you get your heart broken, if you get burned, if you get betrayed, or whatever else, it's like we will heal, and I will be there for you. So that's something to consider. I was thinking about that today, and I just thought I'd share it with you. So that is my video for this week. Thank you for watching. I hope that you have a really awesome and enjoyable week and a happy Thanksgiving. And that during your week, you consider just really being there for yourself, really having your own back in a way. So thanks, and I will see you in a week.